Call the meeting to order. Order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scott was just so excited.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott, for leading that.
That's great, no problem. I'm a normal natural leader.
Soothing baritone there.
Yeah, soothing baritone.
Consider approval of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Consider approval of April 15th minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
Now second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the minutes of April 15th, 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Consider action on award of business improvement grant program applications.
Thank you, Chairman. We had 13 applications total as part of the grant program that we put out. We'll need to have a little discussion on how we want to handle one grouping of 5. The other were pretty individual. We'll touch on that first right away. So we have the property down on Shimcor. It's the multi-tenant building on the west side of Shimcor. And they came to me and they said, we really want to replace our parking lot. That's old and it's in need of replacement. And they asked, do we submit one grant application or do we submit multiple? The reason they asked that is it's set up like kind of like an HOA/timeshare kind of thing, where there's communal ground and then there's individually owned spaces. So this is not handled well by our grant program. We didn't spell it out. And this is all part of the going through the grant program process is you have your first iteration, you find out stuff that works well and other stuff that didn't get covered as well. And we adapt going forward. So we have 5 of the applications that came in under this program. And they asked me and I said, I don't know, the program doesn't handle it well. So just everybody submit single applications and we'll put her in front of the board and we'll talk about it.
So they physically own each individual spot.
Yes, so this entire space is Mayor Business Centers Incorporated.
Oh.
And then if you click on each, this one is Mayor Minnesota Business Leasing. Adam Metzold has this one.
They do own them though. Okay.
Other people own other ones. So they own the individual spaces here.
It's like a collaborative.
$188,000 project.
Yep, so the entirety of the parking lot is 188,000. So the question becomes, do they get 10,000 or do they get 50?
Yep.
With 5 applications.
I would think it would be unfair being the first grant program to award everything we have to
One spot.
one space.
Nick, can you remind me what we put out for requirements?
Yes.
Right, like when we put this out, what were we looking? I thought it was beautification.
So
Can you remind me of what we had talked about? Because that was a long time ago.
yep, so up here, I've got the grant program itself. We have eligible project costs here, awnings and canopies, masonry work, windows, doors, entryways and thresholds, sidewalks, aprons and curbing. Continuing down that list. And then parking lots originally had the maintenance side of things and the ineligible project cost, but then the board decided to move the entirety of parking lot related up to eligible costs. So new construction, reconstruction, mill overlay, seal coating, patching, striping, and the like. Basically, all parts of a parking lot are eligible as part of this. Then there's restoration, rehab work, roofing, a lot of stuff. The rest is mainly down to things that aren't nailed down, work, inventory, working capital, acquisition type of stuff. So then we get down into the portion where the scoring happened. So the alignment with program, purpose, and goals. We had 20 points for that assessment of how the purpose improvement aligns with the purpose of stimulating private investment and high-quality enhancements. We'll read each one individually. Those are the remaining ones and the point values associated with that. That guides the scoring process. And we could probably, after we go through this, probably at our next meeting, think about how we want to tweak this program so it works better in the future. Just continue that process.
Well, yeah, it's hard because I mean, you can't really award one without the other in that facility because they're all basically asking the same thing.
Right.
And then, okay, so let's say we give them $20,000 towards it. They're not, what if they don't do it?
Right.
Then, well, that's fine. I mean, I guess we keep our $20,000, but then I feel bad. Can we go back and readdress then the people that did apply?
Right.
But I think what we need to do is go through each application based on our point system here and determine who gets the most points, and then we start with
Right.
what that looks like.
Yep. So I wanted to bring up the multiplex there, just as we're thinking about as we go through the scoring process, exactly as I say, how's that going to tie in to the whole picture? We can go from there.
Well, I think we need to look at them as one. Because to Chad's point, you know, maybe like if me and Tom or had a building that we were together in, but I own the front half and he owned the back half. But everybody has to use the parking lot from Tom's to get to my back parking lot. And Tom says that he needs a new parking lot. And then I need a new parking lot. I get the grant and Tom doesn't. Well, then Tom's not going to do the parking lot. So why the heck would I do mine? I got to drive through a crappy one to get to mine. So if you segment it out and break it out, number one, are they going to do it then if they only get 10,000 of the 50 that they were expecting because of the 5 applicants at one? So then why waste the money and taking it out of the pool?
Right.
So we can use that as an assumption that they would not go forward. They could argue that point that, well, we would just take a saw with a diamond blade and cut the asphalt on the little section of our property. Because these are really little lots. When you go and look at the building, its overall size, they aren't very, very wide, the lots that they have there.
No, but like one owns 4, you know, conjoining. Another one owns a couple, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't.
So wouldn't they even look kind of weird? I mean, consistency in asphalt is, you know, if you do some, but you don't do the other. How many asphalt contractors tell you, that's a great idea. Let's do half the driveway and leave the other half driveway rotten. They don't do that. They do all of it.
Right.
Because it'll break up. You'll lose the consistency. It needs to be able to hold itself together.
Let's take those two contrasting scenarios. Yours that you just had, the 2 people versus the multi here. How much money would you get and how much money would this get? Is this 50 and you're 20? Or is it 10, 10, 10, 10 per property?
10 per property. So if Tom, in my scenario, Tom said no to his 10, but I got my 10, or these guys got their 10 5 times
Right.
to make
Or is it
50.
you get 10, you 2, you have to, since it's a.
Oh,
property,
I
So
see.
you get 5 and he gets 5.
I see.
5 and 5, or we group them in. This is one property.
Okay.
You get 10. This here is also 10. It's 188. I get it.
Yeah, but,
If the grant program didn't exist, you'd be paying full boat anyway.
right.
So each of the 4 would get 2,500.
I
Yeah,
feel bad though, you know, if you
Right.
do buy, you know, 4 spots and one person has 1 and they're gonna get 10 and, you know,
let me contrast you one more time.
Sure.
Let's say Walmart is in town
Yep.
and they have a gigantic parking lot and they apply to the grant program. How much money do they get?
10,
10.
right?
I'm not saying that's what we go with. I'm just giving the different,
I see what you're saying.
because we just happen to have, we don't have a business in town with a large parking lot.
Right.
We just happen to not. But if we did, how would that get treated?
When again can we fund this? Because obviously we have way too many applicants and not enough money.
Next year, we,
Put it in the
Be-
levy.
Because it has to be added, yeah. We originally talked about 10, but then we also in the minutes, we talked about, we had a discussion regarding the board discussed timelines and matters of implementation at the city council, their April 8th, 2024 workshop. We're open to transferring 50,000 to the E EDA.
okay, so what that was is, how it would normally work is the EDA would get their 2/2 of the tax settlement the same time the city had. So before the transfer happened, the EDA had 20 grand. As of today, if we just let things go, we just did June tax settlement, you'd have 45,000 as of today. And then in December, when we get the other one, then you'd have your full 70. What that was is we went to the city council and asked, can you give us the whole 50 now? So we can get the grant money out rather than waiting.
Got it. So when the taxes get paid, that'll become a wash then from the city's standpoint. They'll be getting their money back, basically.
Yeah, so instead of
And they-
transferring it
Yep.
to EDA, the city
Yep,
will
we'll
just keep it.
But then next year would be different.
We could front load again.
Could, okay. Would that number go up then next year?
It's slated at 50. You could request more.
Okay. Because what are we eligible for? 70?
So how that works now is the original process was trying to levy yourselves, which there is a maximum cap.
Of?
I don't remember.
It's like
Okay.
It was a
0.002.
certain small
Yeah.
percentage of the total tax base
Okay.
that produced that number. I forget what it is. The process we have now is that the city just gives the EDA money. So technically you could go over that limit because the city's just making a general transfer.
That rule doesn't really come into play then,
Correct.
because we're playing a little bit different game. So we could award some of these this year and then get back to the caveat for the ones that didn't get it and say, well, make sure to put your application again March 1st.
Right.
So 6 months from now, we'll just update the application and run you again. So they're not completely upset because they can take another run at it, right?
All things equal, let's say nothing changes, you give out the money now. And then early next year, we do the transfer of 50 once again.
Yep.
The city would just replenish its coffers when tax
Right.
settlement comes
Or
back.
more than 50 if we wanted it.
Let's just say 50. And then you go out for more applications and who knows how much you get that time. Make your decisions. Now, it could be more based upon what we get. And that was also one thing I want to talk about, since we had more ask than there was available. Do we want to establish a priority order for next year? The applicants not selected this year, do they get preferential treatment for next year?
So do we have 50 or 70,000 this year?
We transferred 50, the EDA already had 20.
Okay, so
Total coffers is 70.
But we want to leave some money in the coffer. We don't want to, So we probably have 65, I suppose.
Yeah. EDA doesn't have that much.
And did we set limits? I know it's a 50% match, but did we set a minimum or a maximum?
Maximum of 10.
Oh, as far as I'm thinking of the bid, okay, of the
Right.
project, sorry.
So if you have a $5,000
Yep.
project and it was eligible, you get 2,500.
Yep.
If it's 10,000, it's 5. If it's 20, it's 10. If
Yep.
it's 30, it's still 10.
So do you think we should go through and rank these and see where our numbers come up? Because the 5 that we're spent 20 minutes on may not matter.
Right, yep.
Correct.
Let's move on to the other ones.
Like, so should we just start ranking them? And then if they come down that they're in the top, then we can figure out what we want to do?
Yes.
Yep.
if they're number 4, I mean,
Call them something, yeah.
right, like,
1A or whatever.
otherwise we could sit and hash out these scenarios for a long time
Yep.
and come up with something and it doesn't even matter.
Right.
We should get to scoring first, and we have to help rank order where we think we're gonna be.
I have a question. Where is 124 Ash Avenue North?
Yeah, I had the same question. Ace Employment, where's that?
That's the old bank.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah, there's pictures on Nick's link. I can show you.
Your question, I would say no, they don't rank higher next time. We start over and
Yep, that's what I would say too.
make it fair, everybody in the pool?
Yep.
Yep,
So here's,
Ace Employment Agency.
got it. Okay, yep, that's Mattson. Yep,
isn't this one? Oh, this is
that's Mike
120.
Mattson. Yep.
So.
So that's an Ace Employment Agency.
okay,
Yeah,
so,
there.
Got it. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm out of line or not, but what kind of business are they doing? Do they say that on here?
Employment agency.
Pardon me?
Looks like an employment agency.
Yeah, I know. Is it?
What's in the application is what we got.
What you see is what you got.
I don't know if anybody read it. But, so are they, well, we don't know without this, and I'm assuming Michael Madsen is gonna look for a tenant. That's what he says. Is this one looking for a tenant, or are they a business that's actually running as an employment agency already? So what I'm getting at, if Babler would have came in and said something to fix up his building, that it would gain a business in town. See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Look for, my thing would be to look for somebody that's gonna improve and get a business in town. I think Michael Madsen may do that with his corner next to the post office.
I would agree.
So that's how, I mean, I don't, like I said, I'm not quite following our flowing, but if that would say, that would be like an importance, because you not only, you'd fix a business that could possibly be, and plus it's looking kind of run down on Main Street. So there's two there, there's appearance and possible future business.
We didn't address that when we set the parameters of the program up though, because that could have maybe had a little more weight if they were gonna bring a
Okay,
business.
well, do we have things that same way?
Well-
We're not gonna be making last minute 11th hour changes to a program that has been sent out to applicants.
No, I thought we would use that as, I didn't know if it had to be.
The scoring system has already been
I'll
set.
use the guidelines
He's
that
got
I'm not
it.
gonna
So we
change
just
it.
gotta look at it.
Right, these.
Maybe, that's what I'm saying, maybe I'm out of line, that I shouldn't be looking at that value.
So these are the program guidelines. There's one up here. Assessment of how the proposed
That's where we
improvement
fall
aligns
under.
with purpose, stimulating private investment and high quality enhancements to bolster the community's economic
There you go.
prosperity
Yeah.
and vitality.
20.
And then these are the other ones.
Yep.
That become part of that.
There's your job creation, enhanced aesthetics.
Foot traffic, overall
Overall
economic
Where do you
growth,
see that? I'm sorry.
It's-
project impact and community
Okay.
benefit.
And see, that's where I have problem with Shimcor, is that it's not a foot traffic
Kind
set
of
of
deal.
businesses.
Right.
You know, we're fixing we're potentially gonna fix a parking lot that nobody's ever gonna see,
Except for the employees.
except for the employees.
In the
right.
business-
What,
Shimcor, you mean Shimcor buildings or just the whole?
Right.
business, the-
Like,
They don't have
the
foot
development.
traffic.
You're talking about Shimcor development.
right,
Oh,
like Bradley's is a give and take business. They bring their vehicles there, they come pick it up, you know, and so on and so forth. That's a give and take business. These aren't.
Right.
They're, you know,
Foot traffic, let's just say. foot
right, there's no
traffic.
foot traffic.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling.
Yeah.
You know, and same with a lot of these. I mean, you know,
Employment agency of the old bank, right?
Yeah,
How much
right.
foot traffic is that gonna?
I want to know if that's gonna
I guess
stay.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Are they gonna put a business in there? Do their best to put a business in there?
I don't know.
If they're not, then I'm not on board.
They should have put that in their narrative.
Right. But like.
Our
Mike
overall goal
Mattson,
is to bring,
I agree
upgrade
with
the
Tom.
building and to bring a business to town.
Right,
Because we're making an application to the EDA, and the goal of the EDA, they have to have that acumen a little bit to
Right.
know that we're not just applying for a grant, we're getting from the EDA, which is economic development.
right,
Maybe we should focus our narrative and our application regarding economic development, i.e. bringing another business to an existing building that we have.
right.
How will this bring more economic development to the city?
No, I'm not
So-
saying those guys
So
don't pay.
I'm going to push back on that because a two-sided
Okay.
coin of economic development is not only attraction, it is retention.
True,
True. Okay.
true.
So did the,
Existing businesses that are already
True.
here, that have already
Yeah,
made
you're
the
right.
investment.
True,
to be in this
true.
community.
Pay taxes,
Yep.
yep, so on and so forth. I get it.
did the applicants receive the scoring?
Yes.
Okay, so
They did
they
know.
had
They had
this,
this when they filled
knowing
it.
how we were gonna score them.
Yep.
So they had an opportunity to put in
Right,
or to talk about anything that would touch on these points.
right.
So I think, right, if we stick with what the scoring is,
So what they received. Oh, I've already got it open. So they received, it'll be a little bit small, but they received the whole program packet. They received the program guidelines, eligible applicants, ineligible, project eligible costs, ineligible costs, the process, what we review, the whole thing, the whole program that we approved, as well as the selection criteria, as well as the application itself. So they got the whole thing.
perfect.
Okay.
This is something where, when we look at the program implementation for next year, we learned, okay, maybe we should have more lines that say, please tell us what your existing employment load is. How many do you plan to retain? How many do you plan to attract by having this? What is the specific economic impact that this will bring?
Would it be quicker if we scale them out, 1 through 10? And pick our, see if we narrow them down to 5 that way? Take a long time to go through the points, but
Yeah, I think we could personally do something like that. Our best 1 through 5, compare answers and
then see if they fit. the
then we can
qualifications.
negotiate from there, yeah.
So for quick reference, I'll throw this spreadsheet on the screen. That back there. So we got the business name, the address, the project cost, and then the grant request. So as you're going through applications, if you want a quick reference on that, you certainly can. And I do have all the applications in PDF, so if we want to bring those up, we can specifically look at those.
I have a question. I'll refer it to Mattson, not saying it's only him. There's a couple others. Get a lot of things listed. And let's say he gets into it and the floor is rotted and we put 20,000 in the floor and he burns it up and we see nothing.
That's happened before, by the way.
What?
It has happened before with other cities.
Yeah.
Happened in Lester Prairie.
Can we say, I'd like to see it on the glass and the frontage to be determined, or we'd like to.
It goes towards the project that he submitted. So if they don't have the floor specified, it's not in the grant. So if he opens up the floor and it turns out to be rotten and the floor isn't spelled out as one of the eligible items, it's not going to be eligible for grant funding.
And then that money would come back in and be eligible.
Well, if he does the rest of the project,
So the first thing he says is the building frontage.
we're just talking, right now, it's just generally talking about concept. What happens if they business X gets a grant for 10 grand? And they have 20 grand worth of project costs existing. They open up a wall and they discover 5 grand more worth of work. They're already maxed at 10. The wall and what's in there wasn't in the grant application. It is not eligible. They would have to come up with the extra 5 themselves.
I'm just asking, can we pick and say, we're gonna, the frontage for sure, or can't you? I mean, they could do, it looks like there's enough work there, we might not even see a difference in the building. That's what I'm saying.
Well, on the
We
back
didn't
of that, it's windows and doors, paint, exterior lighting. He talked about inside, but on the back, it's all exterior.
That's some
That
big
helps.
windows, yeah. I mean,
That
you're gonna
helps.
see that right away.
If that's,
472 by 72 aluminum windows, that's gonna stand out.
Yeah, that's why I'd like to, just put it towards that. Oh, absolutely.
yeah, so he kind of has it that, hey, I want
Yeah.
it outside first.
Oh, yeah, and then he has HVAC. He could do that and it could never change.
Yeah, but he already has 20 without doing the AC. We ain't gonna see that.
I do believe he has to show receipts to.
So it's a reimbursement style program.
Yes.
So you,
So he has to do it, otherwise you don't get no money.
so what he puts down as things he's going to accomplish, I would say if we want to look at the concept of line item accepting things and rejecting others, we save that for next year's program.
Okay.
Because the design of this is they submit a whole application and that's what they get funded. Because they're building their financial scenarios on
Right.
this.
Can he just do the demo and HVAC and call it good? That's what I'm saying.
I would say, no, we're not going to run it that way this time. Now, if we want to specify that for next round, that we can pick and choose what we're going to fund specifically to each project. But the way this was put out there is you submit a grant application with a total cost. You break it down so we know what's being funded, so we can say, yeah, this is all eligible, or, they put inventory in there, we go, nope, that's not eligible,
I don't know if Brad's saying this.
or might not.
We accept, we would prefer, or we want you to do, however we want to say it. The first line items, leave the HVAC out, so that'll be
Can you pull me up butternut?
21, 2, 3,000, 23,000. So that you get the 23,000 part of it done. Because that's the only thing that wouldn't be involved, in the frontage beautification. Even the lights on the roof.
The house across the street?
No frontage, where AC,
No, I
you
think
can
it
do that when you
Not by
make
the-
more money.
Right. We're looking for aesthetics, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if.
Which
if he
Coors
took
is
that
old
out,
building.
Yeah.
We're still probably giving.
Okay.
Does that help you?
Yeah, right,
Right, I agree with you.
But yet it wouldn't say you have to have that done too.
Correct.
You took that out of there.
Right, but there's nothing in the program that allows you to do that. You can't say you can't do HVAC.
No, I didn't say you can't do it, but you suggest him to take that out, so he has to complete these items. Does this saying he's gonna have to complete that, or just that?
Yes,
Okay, but if he took that out, he'd probably still get the same amount of money.
but that's not his grant application.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Now you're editing his grant application.
Right. I
You're saying
agree.
he has to do all of it? Or
So, for example, here's his grant application. He has to do all of this if he's going to get the 10 grand.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Yep. So he has submitted that as part of his project. He is going to do all of this.
Okay.
So if he
I
decides,
just
well,
wonder if he meant that, but that's no time. to-
nope, this is
Okay.
what he has submitted and what he said he's going to do.
Okay.
So if he decides, like, I'm not going to do HVAC, I'm going to turn around and say, you're not going to get grant money. We're not going to reimburse because you put in the grant application that said you would do this.
Right.
He's at the top of my list.
Me too.
So he put in for all this, he has to do all of this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
What about you guys? You know where we sit. Who's your number one?
Working on it.
I was like, I'm not there yet.
You're there, you're there.
I kind of read
Yes,
it
I did.
earlier,
We
so.
have to reconvene.
Well, I did too, but I didn't, like, I don't have, I have it in my head, but I don't have numbers. Like if you're gonna say, where did you rank them? I mean, I can tell you who I
I
ranked.
started writing numbers down, I'm like,
I mean, we could all rank it 1 through 10 and just
That's
keep
what,
going.
that's what we were doing, and then we're gonna kind of see how we can align them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 10.
I've got a column here where I did pointing, but I didn't want to.
I did percents because it's got to equal 100.
Yeah.
So I did 70%, 65%, 85%, 90%. That's how I'm doing it.
Well, 80 would be an 8, 70. We can.
Yeah.
The first time. is
I just ranked whoever I thought needed the money the most
well, I
for
was
the
kind of like,
first project.
what's the biggest improvement?
Right.
Is that,
That's kind of what I was
and
looking
if
at.
you get some foot traffic things in there, I mean,
Right.
we're lacking some space.
We are
Right.
definitely lacking space.
What?
Right, but also remember, we have a scoring system, so even.
Right.
You can't assign 100 points to one category when the max is 25. Now, again, this is our first time. If we, afterwards, we want to say, well, this pointing system is junk, we want to go with something else, we can change it. We can change it for the next go around. That's the glory of having the project program in our hands is after we're done and we find out what worked well, we find out stuff that didn't work quite as well, we can tweak it. But we have to do that after, not during.
Where I use the kind of the visual on the thought of it.
Right.
Well, so you can't even rate like on compliance with the program because you don't know if he's gonna get the stuff done, so you can't give him points.
Oh, yes, get that now.
Well, I understand that, but,
Yeah,
but I'm just saying you can't really,
no, if he doesn't get it done, the money goes back.
right,
Even if we give it to him, and he doesn't get it done.
Well, if he doesn't, if a person does not do it, they won't get any grant
Yeah,
money
if he doesn't,
because it's reimbursement.
we just talked about this, so if he doesn't go through with this
right.
completely, he won't get it.
The feasibility to them big 72 by 72 aluminum windows, that's gonna be a long order.
Right, and that's why we set it up as reimbursement style rather than
Right.
upfront.
But I'm talking in with regards to the 150-day time frame. He, just on those 4 windows could be pushing the limits. As long as they're ordered though.
I think you don't hold that against him.
Right. As long as he's moving forward with the project, they're ordered.
Yep.
You know, whatever.
What's Butternut Tree LLC do?
That
Tree
is,
trimming company?
no, that's Steve Follett's.
What do they do? I've been looking it up online. I
All
can't.
offices in there.
It's all offices.
So he's doing it as a landlord.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you just put the windows in there?
Yeah, just redid the whole thing. But if you look at the pictures, it looks horrible. What needs to be done?
That's the back stairwell.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
So it says replace 4 original inefficient, so he must not have replaced them all.
Apartment windows.
Like he did, yeah,
That's
like
some
he
of the
did the
apartments,
front
yeah.
ones.
And then the back concrete's all ripped up, broke up, cracked up, and he's put crack sealant in it, but it doesn't look very good.
Oh,
A major problem there. It's an old building.
Here are the photos.
so is that an apartment?
Yeah, it must be. It's gotta be, it's up on the second floor.
Are you wanting to see butternut? I'm on the different one now.
Yeah.
It's important also.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yep. That was the old style windows. Yep. That leak. Yep, yeah, I can see that. Oh, yeah. And then there's that big, huge crack. So he's at 7740.
the butternut tree. As far as looking at foot traffic, and I know what these things all wrong, but looking as far as EDA foot traffic and whatnot, he did that already. That would have been a better grant. Right?
Right?
Which one are you on now?
Butternut tree.
Oh, he did all that
Well,
repair?
the front he did already. The stuff that I would say to do, that's probably more what he did with his own money is more what Michael Madsen might be doing. You know, that I put more weight on that than the residential property. As far as a business foot traffic, I think we saw that up there. So if he would have converted the hardware store to the business center, that would have been like, oh yeah. But fixing up the apartment part of things, I don't know if that's any better than fixing a parking lot. You know, as far as fixing up a beat up parking lot behind, on the opposite side of the fire station, to make things look better. Or would the windows look better if, does that make it look better as you come through town? That's how I'm trying to weigh that one.
Yeah, any property, up the value, keep it looking good, so.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not as easy as what I'm saying. It's not as easy as saying,
Oh, visual.
as far as that first visual, do we have anything that would be as rough as the corner building? I know.
You also kind of look at, one thing I'm going to be looking at when I make my presentation is how many of these can we fund?
Right.
It'd be better to do as many as we can.
That's what I'm looking at. too.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah.
To get people excited and
Right.
also try to keep them energized that they will, the ones that didn't get it, come back and do it again, I guess.
Right. 'Cause they can,
So-
they're encouraged to apply every year, I do believe. correct?
Yeah, right. Yep.
There's no limit.
No, yeah, it's one grant per year.
So, and I have one that's not fully funded request because it would take me over 50,000 by $2,000.
Right, so
So,
that is a strategy, is if you've got 50 grand worth of work, do 20 grand, 10
right,
over a 3-year period. Now that you're rolling dice now because you might not get funded a
right,
year.
right. He's requesting 7,000. I got him getting 5260, I think. So 3/4 of is what he wants. He's getting through this grant program.
You can, no applicant can get more than half.
Right, he's not getting more than half. He's actually getting less than half. Because the way my math works out, he can't get the full, because otherwise we have to be at 52,000 instead of 50,000. So we'd have to break our own rule to say, we'll go ahead and advance another 2,000 over what we originally said there. And then we don't want to be changing things at the last minute, right? So,
So I'd say on that part, you have $70,000 in your coffers. If you throw in a couple grand and it completes a project because it's on that cusp, that's a bit more forgiving than some of the other things we've discussed.
okay.
Who's your number one, Scott?
Number one is, let's see. That's in at 7,700, 7,740.
I had Mattson.
I had it at 80%, but yeah.
I had him at 90.
I had him at 90.
I'm not good at math, but I had him up there.
My number one.
So, but
Yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay,
Number one.
all right.
if he's our number one, then I think we give him the 10 grand he's asking for.
He's asking for 7,740.
Okay, then give him the 7,740.
Yep.
So,
Oh,
okay, now curious.
He's
when-
asking for
When he's
10
asking for
grand.
34.9, why couldn't we give him the full 10?
Yeah, he's asking for 34,950. This is
Did I
what,
get the wrong application?
No, he ain't asking for the project.
Project cost
The
is,
project cost is 34,950. Why wouldn't we give him the
That's in
full
red.
10?
34. Oh.
so the project, his
our
project cost is
max
30,
is 10,000.
the most he can get is 10
Right.
from our program.
And he's gonna have the most impact on Main Street with his project, I think, if we can get that business going.
Yep. Yep.
So in this here, I've got total project cost. Now, the ones down here, you get repeats.
You
'cause
were
these are the,
Right.
Three
I
got
did,
you
yes.
77.
I know,
40.
as I was
I
off.
was like, I know I've seen that number.
I
This-
know, I'm like, what?
this
what-
one is
why
their
it-
maximum.
Why so little?
I'm sorry, what are we doing?
So everybody's, I think, in
I think we
agreement
all agreed
of
he's our top
10,000,
pick.
Mike Matson, top
10,000.
prospect.
All right.
Yeah, he must figure out, if he read this right, he knew he's putting in the air conditioner.
Yep,
Because he probably knows he has to put in AC to get the people in there.
so everything listed,
Probably
they
what
have
it
to
is.
do.
Pardon?
Everything listed in their grant application, they have to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Oh, if we're doing a grant, Brad, we're putting in a mini split. And then some.
Well, number two, I'm going with R&V.
That's what
That was
I'm,
my number
that was
two.
my number 2.
Oh, so I should,
I'm withholding, right?
so Tom, you may need to recuse yourself. You may need to recuse yourself
That's it.
from this.
Well, we have 3
I
R&Vs.
recuse myself from this.
Mine was Bob's Repair was my number 2.
Bob's was my third.
Bob's was my 4th.
My fourth.
85.
I scored R&V at an 80 as well.
R&B, I've got it 80.
So Tom, we'll have you recuse yourself. I mean, you can look at stuff, that's fine, but
So who do you have
Want
it
me
to?
Pull back or?
I have
just
R&V
continue?
at 2.
Okay, well, then R&B wins
not vote,
3-1.
R&V is number
Not-
2,
not vote.
full 10,000.
So R and V is our agreed upon number 2.
Yep. Then ironically, I had Core Trust for number 3.
I had a hard time going with parking lots being you said no to
I
5.
did too, but he's also doing landscaping and everything else to, I don't know. It's right on
Yeah, I
Main
only
Street.
got top 5. And
What?
I actually had the,
I had Bob's Repair at 3.
Bob's Repair
I
at
had
3. I
Bob's
had
at
him at
3.
4. I could agree with 3.
3. Okay,
Brad?
that's only 7,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'll
now,
go with that.
but that's not a full 10,000, so yeah.
7,000 on that one.
Okay.
Number 4, I had Mayor Lumber.
I can go with Mere Lumber.
I had Ace Employment.
Mary Lumber also. Wow. They're just 33,000. And that's not just to put shingles. They're putting a whole new.
46,610 I had. Did I have that one wrong?
No, you're right. That's
Yeah.
the total.
Yeah, they're-
Yeah.
I didn't understand that one.
Re-roof store roof, remove shingles and replace with,
and they're retarring the whole front of,
also remove existing bit and shape. Whatever bit and shape is, 190 square feet area. Paved 225 square yards area with a 4-inch compacted bituminous in front, which is all broke up.
Which is right on, if you look here, it's right on the, off of 25.
Yeah, right in there, yep.
He just spent some money on
Major.
sealing it, but he thought he better-
So that's the area,
yep,
Yep,
the bit,
yep.
the bit part. That's this strip here. And he was explaining to me that when the highway came through and redid it, they didn't do this and it just missed. It got missed.
yep.
So it's just been cracking up ever since.
So what's he re-roofing, the hardware part of it?
Yeah,
Oh, the whole.
the whole,
This part right here.
Yeah, the hardware store part, yep.
Yep.
That's what I.
the original building.
Well,
Well,
the new,
Sec- the
the
new-
new old
new
building.
old building,
That
sorry.
section.
Yeah,
Okay.
The lumberyard addition, the hardware store. part.
Yep. okay, so that's number 4. And he would also be qualified for then the $10,000.
Right.
Okay.
And
I still like butternut, but we didn't.
I'm just having trouble with Ace. I'm having trouble with Ace Employment. Just, I understand they want to beautify and all that stuff, but there's no, and I know with Mike too, there's no guarantee of putting a business in there.
Right.
But you know that because you know of something personally which isn't a fair assessment of. the
True,
value.
true. I don't know.
So when somebody said something about the awning,
That's Ace, yeah, they want to put an awning on, yeah.
Right, because I was told not that long ago that they still wanted to put a coffee shop in there.
I had heard that too.
So, right, if I'm going with that, I'm gonna say, well, you're gonna bring in a lot of foot traffic, you're gonna, that's not what his application says.
I would have put in the application and he knew the requirements of the application.
Right,
He should have been pumping us for,
Is maybe his main business Ace Employment somewhere else and this is underneath that business or? Cause there's never anybody there.
yeah, he's.
so I got Core Trust as my number 5. And I got Rich Coors' old building for number 6,
Butternut,
I have,
Butternut,
his old building, so it's Butternut.
the apartment part upstairs.
Oh, that, yeah. I have that
Yep.
as 5, but you have it as 6.
I have it at 6. Can move it this way, I
I
guess.
had it as 5.
So what's,
Yeah, Butternut's 5.
Yeah, 4, actually, I think it was my 4.
Yep.
So the landscaping aspect of Core Trust would be a great improvement if the trees come down.
It did.
They
Yeah,
did,
that's what I mean, they did
gone.
come down.
not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to snow plowing now when that tree is not.
Right.
Landscape is 16.
The idea
I was
is,
gonna say, most of their cost is asphalt though.
Yeah,
Parking
right.
lot.
yeah, and that's the original from 1994.
Whose
It's
fault
paved.
is that, Scott?
Not mine. It's paved.
I didn't think it was that bad, other than
July.
the breakup by the.
Scott knew he'd kick back.
Right?
Yeah.
When you get to that second tree section by the driveway, that's where it's broken.
Yeah. And there's a big crack that goes from Knuckleheads into the garbage disposal area. It's about that big and the water keeps going in and breaking it up.
So did we all agree that butternut would be 5?
Yeah.
We all get on board with that or no?
Yep, that's what I
Right.
originally had.
Wow.
I'm at 6. I'll change it to 5.
Sure,
So there's a little, oh, that's right, we have 70, huh?
5 and then they get.
We don't want to spend it all though,
Oh.
right away.
Okay.
And then I have Core Trust at 6 then.
Hold on,
so I'm keeping totals here. I'm keeping
So
totals
am I.
here. Right here, bottom right. Total you've got for grant expenditures is $44,740.
And if you put Core Trust in, you're at 54,740, and that's where I end up with.
And I have Ace in front of Core Trust just because it's garbage. It's parking lot.
so what is the dollar amount on butternut?
Butternut 7740.
7740?
Yep.
So then,
That's how you get that weird 44.7.
So we're moving right along, okay?
I could get behind either one of them, I guess,
Which two?
between Ace or Core.
Oh,
I mean, it would be a long time coming. I'd like to see, Main
Ace is
Street.
doing a lot though.
I know, that's what I'm looking at the most.
I lost what you-
But it's not existing business right now.
I know.
Or Core Trust has got people going through it all the time.
but do you think it's gonna bring more people because they have a nice parking lot?
Well, again, that's not what Nick said. Remember what he says about
It says foot traffic
foot traffic, but it
and
also
bringing in
said
new clients.
existing,
Yeah,
also existing, so.
But that's, again, the two sides of the coin of economic development. It's not only about what you're going to bring in new, it's about businesses who are already here, who are already
Right.
bringing in foot traffic.
yeah.
Right.
My only issue with Core Trust is we didn't consider anybody else with a parking lot.
Yeah.
Mere lumber a little
A
bit.
little bit, but you could argue our grant money's going to the roof.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you could.
right? We're only giving them 10,000 for a $50,000 project or whatever it is. 46,000.
And I would just argue that Core Trust has been paying taxes to the city since 1994, where Ace Employment hasn't been paying taxes. And Core Trust was the #1 taxpayer in the city of Mayor for about 7 years until Rod did his improvement on this building. We're the highest business
So-
in town.
So we already.
If we're
And Brad
arguing
moved to
over the
town.
two and they each get 10 grand, we're at 44, we can give them each 10 and be at 64.7.
If you're okay with that.
So
You know what?
You give Ace and Rich,
Oops.
Core and Ace 10.
You know what? I'd be.
Rich is
fine with
already
that.
in.
No, is he?
Rich is
No,
already in at
Rich is
77.
not.
no, we,
No, he's not. We don't.
Oh, didn't you put, he was number,
Butternut
You're
Tree,
talking butternut.
yeah,
His
Keep
old,
saying Rich.
sorry.
Rich doesn't own it anymore. Steve
Use
Follett
the
does.
existing.
Sorry, Butternut's in.
so
Sorry.
right, you could put whatever, Core Trust and Ace as 6 and 7, and it takes
Yep.
us to 64. I mean, if that's what we're arguing, like,
hold on. Did we have Core Trust for number 6?
We didn't agree to it. I
We
have
haven't
it.
agreed to
it.
We didn't.
I have it.
but that's what I'm saying, we can put that in there. And then what is 7?
Ace, I have.
Either or.
Right? So if those are our last two in contention,
Yep.
I mean, does
can
it
put 'em
matter
either
who's
way.
6, who's 7?
Nope, it doesn't.
We're
No.
getting the same amount of money.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, do we agree that number 6 is Core Trust or not yet?
We don't,
Yes, we did.
yeah, let's just say it's 6.
Put it back up there.
And we agreed that 7 is Ace.
Yep.
That'll be total expenditures of $64,740 in grant funds, assuming they all go through with their work. We have 70,300 and change.
Fine. At this point in the
I
season.
think it's
We
great.
agreed to have to do everything on their list.
Everything that's in the grant application, they must do.
And they gotta get it completed in 150 days.
150 days. Now, if they come back and say my windows are on back order for 90 days,
We can maybe give it an extension.
So
Right.
number 7 is Ace. Is that
Right,
number eight?
correct. Yep.
No.
7 is
We're out of
Ace.
money.
Sure?
Yeah, there's no room.
You sure?
Yep, we're done.
How much we have? 64?
Yep,
So how much do we have left?
just under
We
10.
wanted to spend 65.
So doesn't Rich have 10,000, which he gets 500, 400? 5,400?
That'll take us
We-
over.
But we're gonna spend down to nothing then.
That'll take us over, I
I
think.
don't recommend spending the entirety of our 70.
Nope.
That's what he
Otherwise,
was
you don't get
recommending.
money for
Yep,
advertising
right.
For your
Nope.
car show.
I thought this was this money for this project. That's what I thought was for this project. This is what you had set aside for this.
No,
grant.
that's the entirety of the EDA's fund.
Oh,
So you
Yeah.
started with,
oh, so okay, there was.
We got 50.
Hold on, 50 was for the grant. Okay.
Right.
I heard
And we-
70 and I'm like,
So-
okay.
50 is
Okay, got
what
it.
was
Yep.
transferred to the EDA.
You
The
just-
program says
Threw
nothing.
the rest in on kindness.
So the
Yes.
program says nothing about a $50,000 limit.
Right.
It's just that's what was transferred
Mhm.
and that's, you had 20 existing. So you have 70 sitting there for the entire year until you get your next installment of cash.
Okay, that's what it is.
So yeah, the idea was don't spend everything because then
I might be a little.
is that a catch?
It's okay.
We're all over the board.
I think we came
just
out
kidding.
well in the end.
Yeah, we
I mean-
funded 7.
We might have argued on, this or that, but
Yeah,
in the end, I think we were all pretty well aligned.
yep, right, I agree.
I'm
All right,
surprised
now,
we came that close, to be honest.
Yeah, right. Me too.
now for fun.
The fun part. I thought that was the fun.
Here's what I,
Now we have to figure.
No, he-
figure out
sorry.
why we did it.
No.
No,
Column H. Column H is what my, now, I don't have a vote. I just did my own scoring for fun and I didn't show you guys because I didn't want it to influence, but
Hey, we did pretty good compared to what you.
Yeah.
had.
the ones in green are the ones I had slated for.
So, yeah.
We got yours
did it.
plus 1.
I had, Core Trust would have been 7 in my book.
Oh.
Simply because it's a parking lot project.
Yep.
Right.
Very good, Nick. Why did we just waste our time?
Because boards make the decision.
Funny.
Boards
Why did we
make-
waste our
So-
time?
Now, do we talk about if we want to ask the council for more money?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Well, we don't have to do it right now, but I think
yeah,
we
but
do.
budget's going to start soon.
Oh, it
It's
is?
a quarterly meeting, so we're starting budget. So if you want to make a request for more funding,
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we want to put that in. We
Yeah,
want
the-
70.
now we have quarterly meetings. Now, that doesn't preclude you guys from setting
Next
a
year.
meeting 3 weeks from now to come back and talk
$100,000?
about it.
I was gonna say 70, but up from 50.
I'd have said 75. I like
70, you like round numbers?
That's why I was just gonna go for the 100, since we did have
100?
so many applications.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we have to spend it.
I
No,
mean,
it doesn't mean
even-
we have to spend it at all,
Yeah.
but it would be able to help more people.
Again, even if we had 100 grand, we wouldn't have been able to help everybody that.
Right. True.
I would just say 70 to 75 is probably,
So 80?
since I have a very good, idea of what the budget's
I
looking.
was gonna say,
Okay, so 70 it is.
75.
75.
Now 80, 85.
85, 95, 95.
And we're at 100 already. Should have started there.
I'm good with 75.
75 then.
Fred the turd.
Yes, council.
This is on TV.
Fred the turd. Fred the fort.
Fourth and then the fifth.
It,
The fifth is under.
Right, I think we wanted to do that, right, Nick? I mean, because I know budget time is coming,
Yep.
Yeah.
so
Yes, it
let's,
is. This is the time.
we better get in
all
there
right, so we
early.
should
I
make a
mean,
motion, Tom.
So first and foremost,
Make a motion to approve these 7.
he can't.
I'll motion to approve the 7.
So, look at him go.
So now you as chair, you must solicit a motion. However, when it comes to the vote, you will abstain.
Abstain.
One is procedural requirements as president, the other is the actual vote.
Peggy, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
I'll motion.
Okay.
Second.
What do you want Peggy to say your motion? We'll fund 7
We'll fund
of the
the
highlighted ones that, yeah.
On the 7, so Madsen, Butternut, Core Trust, R&V, Ace, Bob's Repair, and Mayor Lumber.
$64,740.
Yep, put
Yep.
that in the motion.
That is the motion.
I motion.
to
I
fund them.
seconded.
Tom, you can say all in favor.
So motion's been made second to fund with our business improvement grant program applications. 7, do I have to name the 7?
Nick already did.
We
I
did.
already
Name
did.
the 7 businesses for a total of $64,740 dollars. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, motion
Oh,
carries.
no.
Nope.
Oh, so yep.
Motion. So we have the first, the second, the vote is ayes, the second vote is nays, and then you
There would be
specifically say that you are abstaining from voting.
Okay.
So we try again.
Mm-hmm.
Try one more time.
Well, the motion's been
Back it
made
up.
and second
Robert's rule,
to
huh?
fund,
We're just keeping.
7 businesses at $64,740. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any discussion, actually, any discussion? All in favor, say aye again.
Aye.
Opposed? And I abstain from voting. Looks like motion carries.
Thank you. Perfect. That is exactly on point.
Okay, next subject, let's talk about funding for next year. Since we're talking about it. I'd entertain a motion that we request 75,000 from the city of Mayor for EDA funding for the
Business grant.
Business Improvement Grant Program for 2025.
I would second that motion.
Motion's been made in second to increase the fund, or increase the EDA funding for business improvement grant for 2025 to $75,000. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
5-0.
Awesome.
All right. Any EDA individual reports or items?
I do, sir. Mr. Chair, I would like to get an update from City Administrator Nick on the Old Creamery.
Where the old creamery currently sits is he very well knows that he has 2 options at this point: sell it or tear it down and sell it. I think it was a couple weeks ago, I was talking with him about it, and he was going to be refreshing his quotes for demolition, where that's currently at.
And did the city mayor give him a deadline date for him to be do one or the other?
No, the idea was after the grant application failed at the CDA, he was then, all chance of doing his project then died with it. He fully understood that he needs to sell or demo it and sell. So there was given just a berth with no set end date. Now, it won't be 6 years, of course, but
Would the council ever revisit that and put an end date if nothing moves?
yes.
Okay.
So Mike Dodge and I, the mayor, have had some internal conversations about that.
Will we want a motion from the EDA board to instruct the city council to put an end date on Mr. Nick's ownership and lack of action on the items that were sent out 6 years ago, his lack of getting anything done and moving forward, to send him a letter and say, thank you for being a business owner in the city of Mayor, but you failed to do blah, 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 blah. We need to move on. People are constantly calling and asking for business opportunities in the city. People have requested opportunities, not constantly, but have requested opportunities for business opportunities in the city of Mayor. It's the job of the EDA to help facilitate that process. So we're encouraging the council to put some kind of a limit on his time frame. I think it'd be a fair statement from the EDA, because it is really the goal of the EDA to try to enhance businesses to come to town. And we would like the city council to put some kind of a limit. It could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. But I think Nick needs to know that he can't perpetually
Right.
tell you I'm getting new bids, refreshing bids. I haven't had any luck selling it. I've been down this road before in the little town of Stewart, Minnesota, on an old meat market. And finally, after the city gave him 5 years, and he waited till 4 years, 11 months, and 29 days before, lo and behold, he sold it to his mother. So, in the meantime,
Yeah, there's always a way, ain't there?
fell into disrepair, was a rat nest, neighbor complaints to the city, da 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 da. Well, city's answer to the neighbors and residents was, well, we gave him 5 years to liquidate it, and he waited till the 4 years, 11 months, and 29th day.
So my personal internal thoughts as city administrator on that was soonest this fall, the latest next spring.
Sure. So is anybody else on the board okay with drafting a letter from the EDA to the
Well,
council?
I would say with legal,
Representation to review
Yeah.
the letter?
so we're not stepping over our lines.
Oh, you're
I mean,
okay.
If the building's, I mean, it's gonna fall in, you can see the Montrose. once the
Fall
roof
in, it's
goes.
already, the roof is already
Yeah,
falling
But I
in.
mean, once the roof goes, there's not brick holding brick up on some cases, it's wood holding brick up, and that's gonna, I
Right,
don't know if that's the case over there, but in Montrose, the east side went because the roof went.
Mhm.
So
But
if it's gonna keep going into the building, but if it is a true brick building like this, that's what I just said, doesn't hold water.
Well, I think
But I'm
what
just
this,
saying.
what
if
this
it's
would be is,
getting-
it's a recommendation from the.
that's just a recommendation, it's not
Yeah.
an ultimatum.
Yeah,
It
it's a
says we
record.
recommend,
Yeah.
from our viewpoint as the EDA, we want to move forward, we want to try to bring
Something
business to town.
So the question I have, so I will transmit this to the city council. We have two city council members on the board. What deadline do you want?
1 year max.
I said, I was thinking of telling them you're gonna have this thing torn down at the latest next spring.
I would agree with that too, but
Too soon.
When you're
it might
bringing-
all collapse this winter too if
Yeah,
we get
okay,
snow.
Good.
okay,
So my-
with bidding, I mean, people are busy for a year, so
Yeah,
next September, 1 year, or next August, even 1 year, that's probably more realistic with, unless we come in with an engine block swinging from a crane.
So my rationale is he's had how many years
Right,
to get this
that's-
squared up?
That's
He,
true.
he knew he wasn't getting the grant
This isn't.
earlier this year.
right.
He's had
My-
time, and to get a quote to do demo, you do that over the winter.
Right.
And then once weight restrictions are off and you can load the thing, come out,
You know,
okay,
good
plow the
reason.
thing under.
Good reason, so yeah.
I like spring.
That was my internals.
I like Nick Johnson's internals.
The city
I like-
council deal with this. I think they're doing fine.
Yeah.
if you want.
I think we should put a date,
Yeah,
right? Like April 30th, not spring, not,
yeah, because it
but
could be a
like,
long
not
spring,
a
right?
year, like
Yeah,
April 30th, July 31st,
yeah.
August
Like-
1st, 2025. it needs to be
something.
done.
Not August 1st.
Or July 31st.
That's July 31st. It's a weird day.
What?
July 1st. Do it the first of the month.
What
Not
is
the
the
end of the
wish
month.
of the board?
Not April, the weight restrictions. are
That's what-
very-
Still on,
It can
yeah.
still be soft and, depending on what kind of spring you have.
I'm fine with August 1st.
August 1st is.
I'd like to see
yeah,
July
you
1st
should-
personally.
Absolutely no excuse, August 1st. Sorry.
I'm fine with either July or August. I really-
Because, hold on a minute, he may
You
not,
guys can decide that. but
he
I-
may not just, well, no, ultimately they will,
Yeah.
but we have to put something on the letter. We recommend that the date be, but if he doesn't tear it down and just sell it, that's his options, his second options. So he doesn't have to, huh? Yeah, It's fine. You can, it doesn't, we
Yeah.
don't put in there who he can sell it to.
So he can sell it, however,
He could sell it to his best friend.
so how this plays out. I'll tell you how it'll play out. He sells it to his mother. That does not reset any clocks in my book. It's still a dilapidated building. I would then have a conversation with his mother. Let's say he sells it in April. I'm like, well, that's nice. You now have 3 months to tear it
Yeah.
down.
So
So,
put in the letter, sell or tear down by,
Yes.
ultimately then if he sells it prior to August 1st, he still has, the new owner has to tear it down by August 1st.
All-
Okay.
So, or could you say, either way, this building has to be torn down or rehabilitated?
yeah,
And the project would have to start.
Not rehabilitated. That's not.
No, we're past that point.
Okay,
We're
Way past
ship
that.
has sailed. So it's tear down by August 1st, July, whatever.
and Scott, if you're making the motion, you put the date in there and then the board votes on what date you put in there.
I'll agree with anything because the city can adjust.
Why even put cell in there? It has to be torn off.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
say tore
you're right, It
down.
has to be torn down, whether it's by you
Yeah.
or some.
Somebody
Due to blight, safety issues, you can wordsmith it, we can put whatever you want in, but I guess I can put that in my motion. My motion is to make a recommendation to the city council from the EDA board to let the owner of the creamery, Nick, whatever his last name is, Wojciechowski, Valak, that the building gets torn down by the 1st of August, 2025.
I like Chad's July 31st. I don't know why. Then you don't even look into August. It's over.
August thinks it gives them a little more time, but okay, July, I'll friendly amendment, I'll amend my motion to July 31st,
Well, we didn't vote on-
2025.
We didn't vote on anything yet, so we
Yeah.
can just say it.
Right, I'll restate my motion, July 31st, because Brad likes the date that Chad brought up.
And then city council
He does-
change it anyways.
Yeah, and the city council is gonna change it anyway. That's already, it's just a rec,
You were doing June 1st.
yeah.
Oh. Sells all of it.
So
So can I ask, if we move forward with Scott's motion, does that get,
Bottom line.
right, if he sells it, is that part of the sell agreement that the new owners would know that it needs to be torn, like, if we put this in that this property has to be torn down by August 1st and he sells it on December 1st, is the new owners obligated
Well, that's what I was saying, to be rehabilitated. He said, no, that's totally.
to
out of it.
tear it down? Like,
Yeah, you can file, the city of Mayor can file a document and record it in the Carver County Recorder's Office that says that this property is uninhabitable and not eligible for rehabilitation. It needs to be destroyed and tore down by July 31st of 2025.
Okay.
File the document, and when that, so it's sale,
no, here's how it works. This is a recommendation from the EDA to city council. The EDA, I'll draft a letter and it will go to city council that the EDA recommends that you tell Nicolsec that August 1st is what we're recommending. Now, council takes that into consideration. They can say, yes,
or no,
we notify, then let's say council says yes. I then notify Nicolsec that council has said, we're setting a deadline for you of July 31st of next year. You have to have that thing demoed regardless of what, not regardless, you have to have, if it's not sold by then. Now, in the process, let's say you have somebody who's got, Elon Musk comes down the road and he says, I want to buy that property. I'm going to develop it. I'm going to rehab the whole thing. I'm in development. I've got the money. No questions asked. Well, now rehab's on the table because this is directed at Nicholas Sack.
Somebody wants a brewery, they can put the
Yes.
new roof on if the sides are good and all that. That's what. I was
This
thinking.
assumption is that Nick is still holding it as of that date.
Okay.
So if somebody else buys it and they've got the money to throw into it and they said, no, I want to keep it and rehab it because I like the historic aspect of it. Great.
So then you maybe change your motion unless sold before that date. You can add that in there to a new owner with the idea that that's a rehab.
The idea is that this is directed at Nicholas Sack.
Yeah, right. That's true. He's the problem.
Yep.
Not the new owner.
Now, set that date, it comes and goes, then we get into forest abatement procedures at the city
Correct.
council level,
Right. Yep.
which is where we were just about at when he came and
With the plan.
I had the resolution ready to go.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
default back to that
All right.
if he
I'm
decides
good with that.
not to. Really, what this is about is giving Nick his deadline.
Yep. And that's the important thing.
Yep.
So there's a motion on, was there a second?
Motion on all
No,
of
I
that?
didn't call it because just now you
Okay.
had it just to be tore down. And, but that's what we're going with for next.
Mhm.
As long as he's the owner.
Yep.
As long, I could say, motion is as long as Nick Vasic, whatever, is owner of 23 Blue Jay Avenue, it has to be torn down by July 31st, 2025.
113 Fifth Street.
Of course, he would know, 113 Fifth Street,
The old creamery,
the old, i.e., the old creamery,
the property
FKA.
commonly known as the old creamery.
known as the old creamery, by July 31st, 2025.
Sounds like a motion to me.
What do we go July 20, 31st now again?
It's July 31st,
Yep.
2025.
I said August 1st. Okay, I'm gonna try
Once.
to do this here.
Second.
Oh,
Sorry.
You just wanna do that?
Yep, we're good.
This is on recording. This is on YouTube.
That was Scott's motion.
Yep.
Okay, Scott's motion, any discussion? Yeah, I know. Motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ooh, that hurt. Opposed? Motion carries.
Next update, I have another question, officer update. What's the status of the old fire hall?
It is in Brad Quas's
In
hands,
Process.
in process.
In process?
Yeah, what do you,
Wait, he's going, the roof's gonna.
another glass is on or it did come in that one and now I'm adding a fourth one over there, so that's ordered. Gas lines are in, electrical's roughed in. Now we're moving into the bathrooms, just got a permit for a couple of the bathrooms.
Nice.
Got a permit for a couple more. So the east and west sides will be done first.
Got it. Okay. In the middle last.
Yeah, as people come.
Got it. Any prospects?
A lot, but I can't make no promises. because
Yep.
People turn their lives upside down for a date, and if I get a delay on something.
Yeah, right.
Still looking at fall though. I
Good.
don't see a problem with fall.
Perfect. Awesome. And they fit within the criteria that the city,
Some of them,
yep.
not all of them.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Got it.
Heck,
Come to the
Brad.
city.
The heck, Brad.
What's that?
So the middle
What the hell,
three are gonna
Brad?
be a dispensary.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not in.
January 1st, there may be a new tenant, January 1st in the middle part then, or? The city, I assume, has adopted a cannabis policy. Are you working through that, or
That didn't come forward yet.
Well,
have you had a discussion with the county? Have they been here yet
we're
to talk to
jumping
you?
subjects now.
I know we are.
We're talking
Okay.
about Old Fire Hall.
All right. I'll refrain from any more questions regarding the old fire
Does
hall.
anybody wanna do number 7?
Thanks for the update.
This is what we do it on ED or plan and zoning. Number 7, anybody?
What's that, adjourn?
You got it.
Motion.
A motion, second.
Motion's been made and second to
Aye.
adjourn. Any discussion? All in
Aye.
favor, say
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next meeting is?
Oh, gosh.
Should be October or something.
October, what are we, third Monday, 21st?
40 applicants, it's gonna be tougher.
Right.
Once the word gets
Um,
out. Yeah.
Actually, the second is
October.
on Wednesday. First is on Tuesday.
Is October a little weird this year?
I have my Wednesday car show on October 2nd.
We're not Wednesdays, we're Mondays.
I know,
What is? So
So
the
it's-
21st.
no.
Our next scheduled meeting is October 21st on
Oh,
that Monday.
21st.
Yeah,
I thought you were
21st.
going like the first, I heard first Monday.
Third Monday.
Third Monday, okay, 21st, this, okay.
Perfect.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you something, run away.
I do have to run another appointment, but
I know, I gotta, give me 3 seconds.